My apartment is northeast. Oh God, this is really hurting my brain.
Rolling.
Rolling. So to talk about my favorite artist, I guess in the last few years, discovered the work of Saul Steinberg, and he did a lot of work for the New Yorker. He was a cartoonist for the New Yorker, and his work is mostly done in pencil or watercolor, and it's very kind of tongue-in-cheek, very light-hearted, a lot of play on words, and a lot of sort of social commentary. So I would say it's playful, it's funny, it's clever, it's quite minimalistic in its look. It's not really conceptual in the sense you know what you're looking at, which I like. And I would say that's Steinberg.
That's perfect. Okay. That's action.
So, talking about Saul Steinberg, but switching every positive to a negative. Here we go. So, Saul Steinberg's work is not conceptual. It doesn't look at abstract concepts. The work, it doesn't use too many materials or media. It is never in black and white, or almost never in black and white. It is not. It's not serious. It's not. It's not meant to make you think too hard. It's not a sort of conceptual approach. It is. It isn't boring, though. It's not rigid. It's not serious. I think I said that already. And his subjects are not really of a nature base. It's not something outside of people. He doesn't observe phenomenons beyond people. And that's not everything I can say.
Whoa, good.
But I think I will stop it there because this is hard. So that was fun. That was hard. I think it's really interesting to kind of watch yourself speak very freely about something and then speak about the same topic with a constraint on it, and it actually forces you to think a little bit more about the topic and consider things that you might not have otherwise thought about. So I think that was a very cool exercise. Enjoyed that. And it will actually make me think probably, I think when I'm describing things, it kind of expands the way that I can talk about something if you kind of keep that in mind when you're describing something. How could I say this in another way? how could I say this negative? Not negatively, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, action.
Okay, so my favorite drink, and I don't know if it's because it's a cultural thing for me, but I like what people call chai tea. But for me, it's just chai. It's just chai. Don't say chai tea ever. I'm begging you. But okay. So it's chai, which is basically like Indian milk tea with a lot of spices added to it. And I think what I like about that drink is, I mean, growing up, I don't remember drinking a lot of it, but I think in 10th grade, 9th grade, it was sort of my go-to thing when I wanted to stay up. And there was something about the way my mom made it that sort of got me very addicted to it. And then I just started following her way of making it altogether. And now it's like when I'm so far away from home, and I feel like that's that one thing that I've continued throughout in a way. Like a lot of things about my food habits have changed over time, but chai has sort of been very constant for me in that sense. I of course like came across a lot of other new drinks that I like a lot, but chai has been like my go-to even during summers. Even if it's like 50 degrees out, I'll go and make chai for myself. If it's too cold, I'll go and make chai for myself. I'll get people around me to drink chai, or yeah, it's just there's I think it's the feeling of like feeling connected to my home, with like the aroma of the spices, especially because I don't get a lot of spicy food here, especially. So I feel like it's the connection that I feel with my home, my mom, my parents, and all these memories I have that makes it my go-to drink. And essentially, it's basically milk and water boiled together with tea leaves, sugar, and a lot of spices. Any spices, honestly. But yeah, that's it.
Yay! Okay.
So my prompt is no negative words. Oh, that was a negative word. Anyway, so chai is my favorite drink, and that is commonly known as chai tea here. And I would strongly encourage people to refrain from calling it chai tea and call it chai instead. What I like about it is the fact that it takes me back home, and I feel like I'm being very conscious right now. I feel this connection with my hometown that is lacking from the food I get here. I think it's the spices, especially, that make me feel more connected to my home in a way, and being able to keep that with me through this one drink that I've been having my not entire life, but most of my adult. I just said something like that. No. Having this one thing that has been a constant for me for my entire life since I turned into an adult. I think that keeps me connected to my home in a way. It is a very simple thing to make. You basically boil milk and tea with tea leaves and sugar and add a bunch of spices to it. It is very easy to make, but is that negative? No, it's not. But I feel like it's not. As I have been growing up, I have come across a lot of other drinks that I also like a lot, but they are they make it difficult for me to feel connected to them in a way that chai does for me. It is more of a nostalgic thing, and I think that is why it is my favorite drink. Oh my god, that was I think I
Yeah.
subconsciously.
Go.
So I thought everything that I was saying didn't have anything negative in it, and then until I think somehow the prompt got in my head, and I started to get very conscious right from the start about what I was saying, but also at the same time, like I thought I didn't say anything negative, but it's not necessarily no is not necessarily a negative word. It's more of also like something that it's like it's something that it's beyond the negative word in this like absolute sense of negative. It's just like you're saying no, just don't do this. That's it. It's as simple as that. And I think everything that I was saying had more of the other use of no, but I couldn't subconsciously think about it until I said it, and then 2 minutes later I would realize, oh no, I said it, and then try to go back to it. But yeah, I think it just made me like sort of feel like even if you think you're like a sentence, this entire like bunch of statements I made before, and I thought there was nothing negative in it, but after it got into my head, I realized that there were some things that I was forgetting about here and there. I feel like it sort of with that constraint makes you so much more aware of what you're saying and how you're saying it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it's a great way of exploring fictional languages, because like not like in some world where you're actually not allowed to say any negative words, like how are you going to talk? I am definitely going to apologize a lot of times in that word for using no's and stuff, but it was a fun experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very creative way of doing this.
Thank you. And also, like, if you're trying to say something, you have to be specific about what's the negative part instead of using not. Like, you're
Exactly.
using, like, lacking.
Exactly. I have to explore, like dive into so much more of the English language than I do generally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess yeah. Like I think it helped. If I do more of this, I will definitely be able to work on my vocabulary a lot. I know that.